Welcome to my classroom. In this model 4 humidification in this master answer 1 course, in the previous lecture we have solved few numericals on humidification and psychrometric charts, in particularly in focus to cooling towers. In this lecture, before deriving an expression for height of a packed tower for cooling operations, we will recall what is wet bulb temperature and dry bulb temperature. So we will discuss about wet bulb thermometry, and we will recall what is Lewis number, which we have discussed in analogies between heat transfer and mass transfer, and we will see adiabatic saturation equilibrium curves. In next lecture we will derive the expression for height of a packed tower in terms of number of transfer units, enthalpy transfer unit, in the next lecture. So in this we will start with what is wet bulb thermometry. In that we will define what is wet bulb temperature, what is the rate of heat transfer from air to wet film, and the rate of heat transfer from wet film to thermometer bulb, and at steady state we will match, they are equal. Then we will define what is psychrometric ratio, wet bulb depression, what is Lewis number condition, and later we will move towards design of cooling towers. For the design of cooling towers, we will start with temperature profile and concentration profile at the interface. Then we will look into what enthalpy concentration curve, that is enthalpy saturated in enthalpy versus temperature curve is called as equilibrium curve. Then we will derive an expression so that we express the height of the packed bed as a function of number of enthalpy transfer units and height of enthalpy transfer units in the next lecture. So if you look at lecture number 34, around time 3 to 8 minutes, I have introduced what is wet bulb thermometry already. Only the derivation part was not done. So you can refer to lecture 34. Between 3 to 10 minutes, we explain what is wet bulb thermometry and how that apparatus setup is done. That is how a wick is surrounded by, how a thermometer is surrounded with a wick, and which is saturated with liquid, and at steady state how the gas is passing through it. We'll have steady state, we'll have the rate at which heat transfer from gas to wick and heat transfer from wick to the thermometer bulb will be explained there. Okay, so now in this lecture we will discuss them in detail. We have defined what is dry bulb temperature, and we have defined what is wet bulb temperature, and the difference in this, okay, so the difference in the values of dry bulb temperature and wet bulb temperature is called as wet bulb depression, and that is an indication of, or you can say it is a measure of humidity. Okay, so the value of wet bulb depression represents the value of humidity of air. Okay, so we can say that wet bulb depression is a measure of humidity of the air. Okay, so when you have a system where you have a thermometer and it is surrounded with a wick, okay, so we have a dynamic equilibrium establishment. Okay, so a dynamic equilibrium is established such that the rate of sensible heat transfer, towards the thermometer and the rate of latent heat of vaporization, the rate at which latent heat of vaporization is lost. Okay, when there is an establishment of dynamic equilibrium, these two are equal. Okay, so the thermometer indicates a steady and constant temperature, which is called as wet bulb temperature. Okay, so where we are discussing, we have a system, okay, where we have a thermometer surrounded with a wick which is continuously supplied with liquid, and when air is entering uniformly, so air will have an humidity, and the sensible heat transfer from air to this wick, we can say liquid surround, liquid film, you can say it's a wet liquid, wet thread, wet cloth, let me say. Okay, so that way whatever is the rate at which heat is transferred from air to this saturated liquid, okay, so then there is a heat transfer from this wet liquid to the thermometer bulb, okay, in which the mercury level will rise, right? So that rate at steady state, a dynamic equilibrium stage, so these two will be equal. That is the basis for our concept of wet bulb thermometry. Okay, so that's why we define the term called as wet bulb temperature. So obviously this wet bulb temperature will be less than the dry bulb temperature. Always wet bulb temperature will be less than the dry bulb temperature. Okay, so in this, let us say the air is entering, let the air enters at a temperature of T and with an absolute humidity of Y dash, absolute humidity of Y dash, and let the wet bulb temperature is, and let the wet bulb temperature is represented by TW. Okay, so what we have air entering with temperature T, Y dash, which is its thing. Okay, and we have a temperature, so it will be saturated such that the wet bulb temperature is TW, and the absolute humidity is YW corresponding to TW. Okay, so the air that is leaving will have a temperature of TW and its humidity is YW dash. Okay, YW dash is the humidity corresponding to wet bulb temperature. Okay, can we write the rate of heat transfer, sensible heat transfer now? What is the rate of heat transfer? Then we can say rate of heat transfer from bulk air to the, this is the wet film, to the wet film covering the thermometer bulb. Okay, so we have a thermometer bulb which is covered by a wet film. Okay, now what is QS? If this is QS, if the rate of heat transfer from bulk air to the wet film covering the thermometer is QS, it can be given by QS is equal to, let me say the heat transfer coefficient is Hg. Okay, then it is Hg, H subscript E, into cross section area available for heat transfer, Hg into A into delta T. What is delta T? T minus, it is the bulk air temperature T, TW is the wick temperature. Okay, So the wick will be at a temperature of TW. Now let it be equation number 1. Here what is Hg? Hg is the film heat coefficient, heat transfer coefficient, film heat transfer coefficient from gas to water. Okay, because there is a film, you have air and you have water in the film. So Hg is the film heat transfer coefficient from gas to water film. Okay, and A, what is A? A is the heat transfer surface area. Okay, so we have written rate of heat transfer from bulk air to the wet film covering the thermometer bulb Qs is equal to Hg into A into T minus Tw. So that is rate at which from gas to wet film. Okay, gas to wet film heat transfer coefficient. A is the heat transfer area. Okay, now what to do? We can have a mass transfer will take place, right? Vaporization, but with respect to the film, we have vaporization because from the film we have vaporization taking place. We can say Na, let Na is the molar flux of vaporization of liquid in kg. What is the unit of flux? Kg mole per meter square second. Let molecular weight of the liquid is, let the molecular weight of liquid is kMa, kg per kg mole. Okay, that it has the area of mass transfer. A is the area of mass transfer. In what will be the unit of area? Meter square. Then let lambda W is the latent heat of vaporization. So latent heat of vaporization is kilojoule per kg. So Na kg mole per meter square second. Okay, so that's why we are using all the terms. So if I say Na, so it has the unit of kg mole per meter square second. Na into Ma, so that is kg per kg mole into A, which is meter square, into lambda W, that is kilojoule per kg. So what we get? Kilojoule per second. Okay, so that is our QW. What is QW? It is the rate at which heat is transferred from the wick to wick or wet film, let me say, from the wet film to the thermometer bulb. Okay, these are basic. Okay, we have heat transfer from gas to liquid, again liquid to bulb. Okay, liquid means in the sense it is a wick. Means saturated wick, right? So this is one rate of heat transfer, this is one rate of heat transfer. So we have the expression QV equal to so we have QV is equal to Na into Ma into A lambda W. Okay, that will be equation number 2. Okay, again this molar flux can be from mass transfer coefficient. We have defined what is flux. Flux can be written in terms of different ways, right? So this molar flux can be written in terms of individual mass transfer coefficients, that is small ky or small kx, okay, or in terms of overall mass transfer coefficient, that is capital Ky. Okay, so the same can be written in terms of capital Y, capital K, capital Y. This is mole fractions, or the capital small y is mole fraction, capital Y is mole ratio. So anyway, we can write the flux equation in terms of any of the driving force, right? Either in terms of small k, small y, or capital Y. Okay, so if I write in terms of individual mass transfer coefficient small ky, okay, okay, so we have Na is equal to small ky into yw minus y. It is a wetted film and this is a y. Okay, so but for small concentrations you can say that y is almost equal to capital Y, which is equal to y dash into mb by ma. So this relationship, mole ratio for small concentrations, mole ratio is equal to mole fraction, so less than 5%. Okay, so and this y dash is equal to mb, because with the unit conversion you can write this. Okay, that is, one is in terms of moles, another one is in terms of mole ratio. Okay, now so this is the expression for Na, or we can say, so in that case what we can do, we can write that this Ky is equal to Na is equal to Ky into mb by ma into this mole fractions can be written in terms of this Ky is same. This for this we have to multiply by this molecular weight. Okay, so molecular weight is taken down, then we can write in terms of mole ratios, yw minus y. Okay, yw dash minus y dash. Okay, so let it be equation number 3. I repeat, we are replacing this driving force in terms of mole ratios. So for that we are multiplying and dividing by the molecular weights to get the corresponding unit difference. Okay, now Na is there, so we can substitute this value. So we can substitute 3 in 2. So what we get? Qv is equal to, for Na we are substituting Ky into mb by ma into, again we have ma a lambda w multiplied by yw dash minus y dash. I forgot to do that, you please add it. mb into a into lambda w is qv. Okay, so now this is the expression for rate of heat transfer from the wick to the thermometer bulb. Okay, now we can say that under steady state condition, under steady state conditions, the rate of sensible heat from gas to liquid, or gas to wick, or liquid film, gas to liquid film is liquid film surrounding the thermometer is equal to the rate of removal of heat from the bulb due to vaporization. Okay, so this is the basis. This is what we have explained in the PPT also. Okay, you can see that the evaporation requires energy, the wick, and therefore the thermometer bulb decreases in temperature below the dry bulb temperature until the rate of heat transfer from the warmer air to the wick is just equal to the rate of heat transfer needed to provide for the evaporation of water from the wick into the air stream. Okay, so that's what we are written again. So now if we equate these two, so what we have is, this one is, we have written equation number 4, right? So we can say that by equating 4 and 1, we have, from equation 1 we have Hg into area of heat transfer into T minus Tw is equal to, right hand side is Ky into molecular weight of air into area of heat mass transfer into lambda W. Okay, remember we assume that under steady state we have heat transfer area is equal to mass transfer area. Okay, so because we are making an assumption, it is assumed that wick is completely wet, perfectly wet. Okay, when the wick is perfectly wet, there are no dry spots. In that case only heat transfer rate equal to heat transfer area we can be equated. Okay, so we are making an assumption that the wick is completely wet and there are no dry spots present. So in that case we can say that, so that we are assuming like this, so that area of heat transfer is equal to area of mass transfer. Okay, if we assume like that, A will get cancelled in this equation. Okay, so what we'll have is Hg into T minus Tw is equal to Ky into Mb into lambda W. Okay, so we have this expression now, and we can replace this what happened to the YW. Okay, I missed this part. Okay, so we have QV equal to Ky Mb A into d lambda W into this term will be there. So we have YW dash minus Y dash. Okay, so here we have YW dash minus Y dash. Now we can rearrange this equation because we have this term, right? So we can write like YW dash minus Y dash is equal to Ky, this Ky will go down, right? Okay, YW dash minus Y dash is equal to Hg divided by Ky Mb into 1 by lambda W into T minus Tw. Okay, now if you see this one, this can be rearranged again. It can be rearranged to write what is T minus Tw, because here only we are defining what is wet bulb temperature, or we can say T minus Tw is equal to, same, no, these all terms will be there in the right hand side, Ky Mb lambda W by Hg into YW dash minus Y dash, and this can be taken, if what is Tw, then rearranging what is Tw, then Tw is equal to T minus Ky Mb lambda W by Hg into YW dash minus Y dash. Okay, so this is wet bulb temperature. Okay, so this is another form of writing this expression. So this is one equation. Let me number it. 4. We have written up to 4. Let it be 5a, or in other words it is 5b. Okay, so from 5a we can write again. From 5a what we can write is this yw dash minus y dash can be written as y minus y dash minus yw dash is equal to minus of hg by kymb into lambda w into t minus tw. Okay, so now we are writing it. This ratio is there, no? So only this minus hg by kymb, not lambda w ratio, and this one is called as wet bulb depression, and both of them represent what is the moisture content, and or you can say humidity. Okay, so that's why we told this wet bulb depression is a measure of humidity. Okay, wet bulb depression is a measure of humidity because you can see that it represents something directly proportional. This term minus hg by kymb is called as psychrometric ratio. Psychrometric ratio. So what does that mean is, for a given dimensions, we can say for a given wet surface, using the analogy between heat transfer and mass transfer, we can determine the values of hg and ky values. So that's what we have seen in our model number 2, where we have discussed about analogies between heat transfer and mass transfer, right? So for a given geometry, that means the size, whatever is the size of the wet surface. Okay, for a given geometry of wet surface, using the analogy between heat transfer and mass transfer, the both the heat transfer coefficient and mass transfer coefficients, that the hg values and ky values can be calculated. See, if you refer to our lectures on analogies between mass transfer, we have even defined what is Lewis number. So that way this psychrometric number, psychrometric ratio can be related to Lewis number. Okay, so we have seen that Lewis number is a ratio of skimming number by Prandtl number. Okay, so we'll see that one first. So psychrometric ratio can be related to the Lewis number. Okay, through Lewis number, how it can be related? So the psychrometric ratio can be related to the fluid properties, because obviously it depends upon the properties of the fluid, right? So obviously when we are trying to relate it to Lewis number, we are trying to relate it to the fluid properties. So what is Lewis number? How it is defined? We have seen it is the ratio of alpha by dAB. That means what? Thermal diffusivity by mass diffusivity. Lewis number is the ratio of thermal diffusivity by mass diffusivity, or you can even say that it is the ratio of skimming number by Prandtl number. And if you recall the Chilton-Coulban analogy, please refer to those lecture. What is Chilton-Coulban analogy? So if you recall Chilton-Coulban analogy, we have Stanton number for heat transfer into Prandtl number power 2 by 3 is equal to Stanton number for mass transfer into what is our primary school, right? So corresponding number is skimming number power 2 by 3. Stanton number into Prandtl number is equal to Stanton number into skimming number, that is with raised to the power of 2 by 3, 2 by 3. Okay, so this can be written as, Stanton number can be written as hg by cs into g into Prandtl number power 2 by 3 is equal to Stanton number for mass transfer is ky m by g. So that is the general definition. All this term, please refer to Kuhlmann analogy definitions. Okay, what is CS? It is humid heat. We have expression for humid heat. G refers to the gas flow rate. So in this, again, this Hg by ky mb is equal to Cs into Skimming number by Prandtl number power 2 by 3. This can be rearranged. Okay. So if we rearrange this, taking Prandtl number to the right hand side, these terms if comes to the right hand side, the G gets cancelled. Okay. So we have Hg by ky mb, because it is for gas, we write with mb. Okay. So again, what is this ratio? That's what I was telling. Hg by ky mb is the psychrometric ratio. So this ratio is equal to, what is right hand side? Cs is there. So Cs into Skimming number by Prandtl number is nothing but Lewis number. Okay. So this is the one. So this Lewis number is again depends upon the geometry of the wetted surface. Okay. So that way, there is another thing is there for air water system. It is because we know what is the air properties of air, water properties of water are well known. So it can be easily shown that humid heat Cs is equal to Cb. Okay, and Prandtl number is in the range of 0.707 for air. Okay, so that way this equation can be simplified to Hg by ky into mb is equal to 1.223 skimming number power 0.567. Okay, and this is psychrometric ratio with the unit of kilojoules per kg Kelvin. Okay, so this expression can be used for that one. Okay, and a psychrometric chart we can easily mark the point TW and corresponding YW dash. So in the psychrometric chart, if you are able to mark the wet bulb temperature line, so wet bulb temperature lines will be like this, right? And YW dash is your enthalpy, humidity corresponding to that values. Okay. So you will have the humidity lines. So you can mark the point easily on the graph TW, YW dash. Okay. So if it is like, for example, 25, if it is 0.005, so in this wet bulb temperature and where the humidity is 0.005, we can mark that point. Okay. So, and this point will be lying on, not somewhere here, it will be lying on 100% saturation line, because we know that TW, or because this temperature is saturated line, wet bulb temperature is saturated, right? So it will not fall here, so it will fall on this 100% line only. So here itself we will get mostly 100% line. You are going to have the what is the corresponding humidity. So directly we can get from 100% line. If you know the wet bulb temperature, the value in the y-axis will give us this absolute humidity YW dash. Okay, corresponding to wet bulb temperature. Now this point is there, and this point will lie on it. This point lies on the 100% saturation line. That is 100% RH. Okay, and this line will have a slope of the curve with a slope of, what is that, minus Hg by ky into mb into lambda w. So that will be the slope passing through this point is called as wet bulb temperature. In the psychrometric chart, on a psychrometric chart, the point TW, YW dash which lies on the 100% saturation line. The curve with the slope minus hg by ky mb lambda w passing through this point is called as wet bulb temperature. That's why wet bulb temperature is having a slope. Okay, so the slope value now we are relating. This is the slope will be equal to minus hg by ky mb lambda w. Okay, and there is another one for a air water system. This Lewis number is almost equal to 1. You can say it is well lying between 0.95 to 1.05. So that way it can be taken to be unity Lewis number. So in that case what happened, this equals to, this term becomes 1, right? Lewis number is 1 means we had hg by kymb is equal to cs. Okay, so what does it mean? This is your humid heat. So that way this adiabatic line and wet bulb temperature lines are identical when the Lewis number is equal to 1. So that is the point we try to identify here. So for Lewis, because for air water system, this is particularly for air and water vapor system, Lewis number is equal to 1, which means that our psychrometric ratio line is nothing but a wet bulb temperature line. Okay, that is also same angle. Then we have this enthalpy lines. Okay, so that adiabatic cooling lines and wet bulb temperature lines are identical. Okay, you can say psychrometric ratio lines corresponding to wet bulb temperature and adiabatic saturation lines these two are identical. Okay, so what does it mean when we have this condition hg by ky mb equal to cs, and we can get cs by cp of air plus cp of water into its humidity, absolute humidity at the bottom of the tower. Okay, bottom condition is represented by 1. Okay, so we have cs value can be determined using these parameters. Okay, now in the design of cooling towers, the gas flow rate, we have seen the G coming into picture, right? Gas flow rate is to be set by the designers. So remember, the performance of any cooling tower depends upon the gas flow rate. Okay, because if you have very high gas flow rate, water loss may be more, and if you have very less gas flow rates, we may need infinite height of the tower. Height of the tower required may be very high. So that way we have to identify what is the minimum gas flow rate and what is the optimum gas flow rate. Okay, so that's what we will explain now. So in the design of cooling towers, the gas flow rate is to be set by the designer, because we want to have low gas flow rate. Lower the gas flow rate, what will be the operation cost? Because pumping cost of the gas is going to be less, right? Smaller is the cost of, lower the gas flow rate, smaller the cost of circulation. Gas circulation cost will be less, that is pump cost or blower cost, operating cost will be less, right? And as well as operating cost, power consumption, operation cost of the tower will be lower. Okay, smaller the cost of its circulation and operation cost of the tower. That's why we want to have a low gas flow rate. But we cannot have in very low gas flow rate because we may have constraint in that one. So how to know that what is the constraint corresponding to lower gas flow rate? We recall what we have learnt in absorption. We have marked the equilibrium curve. We marked the point. We draw a tangent line corresponding to the y1 value to get the L by G minimum, right? Same one we are doing here also. So lower the gas flow. So how to know that one? So that is where we have to mark the equilibrium curve. Okay. So it can be, so to obtain the minimum gas flow rate, usually people say minimum gas circulation rate. Okay. Minimum gas flow rate by drawing a tangential line to the equilibrium curve by drawing a tangential line to the equilibrium curve, we will get the minimum gas flow rate. So how to do that? So what we will do is we will have equilibrium curve. Okay, so what equilibrium curve? It is H versus T. It is a plot of H versus T. So what is your H? Is your enthalpy. So that's why it is a enthalpy equilibrium curve. Saturated enthalpy curves. So the plot between saturated enthalpy versus liquid temperature is called as equilibrium enthalpy curve. Okay, so that H versus T in a plot, if we enter equilibrium data is plotted like this. Okay, so let me say H1 dash and H2 dash are the enthalpies. One is at the bottom of the tank, bottom of the tower. Two is top of the tower. Okay, so H1 dash and H2 dash are the enthalpy values. We can say that this is H1 dash value. Okay, let me say this is H2 dash value. So we can always plot the values, right? TL1, TL2. So we will have TL1 as on TL1 comma H1 dash, and similarly let me say B, TL2 comma H2 dash. So if these two points can be drawn, A and B, when you join these two curve line points A and B, joining A and B. So first what we are doing here, plot equilibrium curve. First step is to plot equilibrium curve, that is saturated enthalpy versus liquid temperature, and mark A and B, mark points A and B. We have to mark the points A and B. We are then join A and B. Join A and B, then line AB. Line AB is the operating line. This is the operating line equation. So now we have equilibrium line and then operating line. Okay. So if we draw from point A, if we draw a tangential line, that is just to touch the curve. It has to just touch the curve. Okay. Draw a tangential line from A to the equilibrium curve. Okay, so that line corresponds to minimum liquid flow rate. That line corresponds to minimum gas flow rate, because the slope, that's what we are defining now. Okay, so from the slope, if you draw a tangential line, the slope, from the slope we get minimum gas flow rate. Okay, from the slope we will get minimum flow rate. Okay, when the slope is because what is the nature of the slope, we can tell one thing. Okay, because when the slope is very high, see, when the equilibrium curve is like this and our tangent line is like this, what is the slope of this tangent line? And when the equilibrium curve is like this and our tangential line is like this, so what is the slope? Okay, so depending upon the slope value, higher the slope, when the particularly for this tangential line drawn, when the slope is high or slope is maximum, means that we need infinite height of packed bed. Okay, so the height required is going to be maximum and the slope is high. So in this one is preferred because the slope is less. So if it is equilibrium curve and tangential line are like this, when the slope is high, so we are going to have infinite height of packed bed. So that's why it depends upon the slope only, we can say that. So that's why what we want to do, we want to have a slope lower than this line. So that is why the operating line, the slope of the operating line is slope of operating lines should be less than the slope of the tangent line. Let me say tangent line is AB dash. So AB is our operating line, and if I told you that we have to draw a line tangents to where it, because with the scale we will just keep moving this until where it this one. So AB dash is our tangents line. So this is our operating line. This is our equilibrium curve. Okay. So this line, this slope of any, that's why we want to operate it. So what we will do, we will have like same thing what we have done in absorption also. So that way actual air supply should be equal to, we can say instead of slope of the operating line, if other parameters are constant, we can say that actual gas flow rate is equal to 1.3 to 1.5 times minimum gas flow rate. Okay. So this all will help us to derive the expression. That's why I am explaining all these bits and pieces information. So the slope of the operating line should be like this. Okay. Now, if we look at what is happening at the interface, we have a gas, we have gas liquid system. Obviously, it is air and water present in the wet film, right? Wick to wick. Okay. So in this system, what is happening at the interface? Because there is one way from air to liquid, and then liquid to the surrounding. Evaporation is taking place, right? So it is again taking place from the liquid to the surrounding to raise the temperature. So how we can explain what is happening at the top of the tower and at the bottom of the tower, we'll see. Okay, so what is taking place at the top of the tower? We are considering a counter current cooling tower. So the top of the tower, so what is happening? What is the temperature? We are drawing or explaining the temperature profile and concentration profile. Temperature profile and concentration profile. So what is happening at the interface? We have an interface between gas and liquid. Okay, so what is actually happening? We have, okay, let me say, we have a liquid and then air. Okay, so the what is happening in the cooling tower? Recall, hot liquid is entering, cold liquid is coming down. Here gas is entering, hot gas is leaving. Okay, here it gas is air actually. Okay, so if you say that what is happening with respect to liquid, it is purely water. Okay, so there is no concentration change in the water because it is pure water. Okay, so if the liquid is pure water, up to the interface, will there be any, let me say, a thin film? If we consider a thin film, because always we consider two film theory, right? So at the interface, we have interface and we have other side air, and in this liquid only we are concerned. In the liquid, what is happening? Liquid is entering at a temperature. Okay, so TL, the liquid is having a temperature, and there will be a temperature at the interface. Okay, so we have a temperature difference. Okay, so pure liquid, temperature difference is there, so there will be temperature profile in the film. So this is liquid film. That's why we have to recollect what we have learnt in model 2, two film theories. Okay, so in the liquid film side, so concentration temperature profile will be within the bulk of the liquid, bulk liquid, uniform temperature TL, and between TL to TI at the interface the temperature is TI. We assume a linear profile. Okay, temperature profile. Similarly, what about the concentration profile? Will there be change in concentration profile in the liquid? No, because it is pure water. So the concentration in the bulk as well as the interface will be the same, flat profile concentration. Okay, so the concentration profile is flat. So that we should know that concentration, because it is a pure liquid, everywhere the water is pure. Okay, so that way the concentration profile in the liquid film is same. But what happens in the air? The air enter is having some a different humidity. Okay, the air leaving is having another humidity. So that way at the interface and the bulk of the air, there will be difference in the concentration of water vapor, because at the interface you will have more water, right? Because whatever is the OI dash, okay, the kg of water vapor per kg of dry air. Let me say that OI dash, kg of water vapor per kg of dry air. Okay, so that is the concentration at the interface, and in the bulk it is Y dash, again kg water vapor per kg of dry air. Okay, so that will be the profile here. So concentration, similarly here, what is the change in temperature profile? So temperature at the interface is this, then air temperature is going to be further. So if you consider a film in the liquid air side, so the profile of the temperature is going to be something like this. Okay, so that will be the temperature of the air, Tg. Okay, so there is change in temperature, that is going to be the temperature profile. It won't be this much flat, you can say assume to be uniform, right, after this point. So you can say the profile, temperature profile is beyond this point, it is Tg. But what about the concentration? Concentration in the air will be changing like Yi dash to Y dash. Okay, so that way the concentration changes Yi dash to Y dash. Okay, so that way we are having a concentration profile in the gas film side. Okay, in the liquid film we have gas film. Okay, so in the gas film we are having a concentration profile, whereas temperature profile is present both in the liquid film and the gas film, whereas concentration profile is absent in liquid film and the concentration profile is present in the gas film. And what about the heat, sensible heat, and what about the sensible heat and latent heat? The sensible in the gas film side, sensible heat also getting from interface to bulk. Okay, sensible heat and latent heat. So the latent heat, let it be A, sensible heat, let it be B. The same amount of latent heat has to be total of sensible heat. That is the enthalpy balance, right? So the sensible heat will be equal to A plus B. The sensible heat in the liquid side moving towards this, so it will become latent heat and sensible heat. Okay. So because of this combined effort of heat, because of the combined effect of the heat transfer and mass transfer, cooling will be faster. Okay, so the cooling will be faster. That would be resulting in the absence of evaporation and mass transfer. So what is happening in this system? Evaporative cooling is taking place. So because of the combined effect of simultaneous heat transfer and mass transfer, the cooling rate is fast. Okay, so this vapor is there, no? Water vapor present in the air. Okay, so this is actually humidity, right? Evaporation and transfer of vapor from the interface to the bulk air, and it carries the latent heat of vaporization. So that vapor that is going will be carrying the latent heat of vaporization. Okay. So these two heats will be equal to the sensible heat in the liquid side. So this is what happens at the top of the tower. At the top of the tower, at the interface from the liquid film and gas film, if you assume, from the pure water to vapor, this is what is happening. But here the temperature profile, you can see it is single side, right? So it's having a particular direction, right? But whereas at the bottom of the tower, there will be a V-shaped profile. Can you say why? So if you have learned the heat transfer course well, you'll be able to predict that at the bottom of the tower, we are going to have a V-shaped profile. Okay. So at the bottom of the tower, when water vapor is less than when the water temperature, okay, at the bottom of the tower, when the water temperature is that is temperature of the liquid, water temperature is less than the wet bulb temperature, TW. Okay. No. So at the bottom of the tower, water temperature, when the water temperature is less than the dry bulb temperature, and greater than wet bulb temperature, dry bulb temperature and wet bulb temperature. Okay, so if it is, when the water temperature is between dry bulb temperature and the wet bulb temperature, what will happen? If you consider the same liquid, vapor or gas, okay, so we will have a thin film for either side. So how the temperature? TL is the temperature of the liquid. We have the interface temperature Ti. So that will be the temperature direction of heat transfer from liquid to gas, and this is going to be purely sensible heat, right? Sensible heat transfer TL to Ti. Similarly, so we are going to have a temperature T0. The T0 is the temperature at the bottom of the tower. Okay, so we are going to have a profile like this, T0. Okay, and same way we are going to have the same mass transfer profile, right? Mass transfer profile is going to be the same, yi dash y dash. Okay, because this is the vapor that is leaving. water vapor from liquid to gas, air. Okay, so we have this profile for this. So this is mass transfer profile, and temperature profile is from TL to TI, and there is a V-shaped recovery T naught. Okay, so how the temperature is changing? Why? Because here the latent heat of vaporization is getting into the latent heat of vaporization is A, but sensible heat is towards this one, opposite direction. And what will be the sensible heat in the liquid film if it is opposite to each other? It is A and B means, is it A plus B or A minus B? It is A minus B is the total amount of sensible heat is equal to this A minus this B. Okay, so depending upon whether the water temperature is below or above the dry bulb temperature of the air, we are going to have a different type of thing taking place. Okay, so if we consider water air, if we consider water air, so there is no mass transfer, there is mass transfer here. Okay, only heat transfer and heat transfer. So therefore the liquid temperature is used instead of concentration in the liquid. Okay, so in the water side there is no mass transfer, but only heat transfer is taking place. But whereas in air side we have mass transfer as well as heat transfer taking place. That's what we have seen from both these diagrams. We have seen that heat transfer as well as mass transfer is present in terms of in the gas side. So with respect to liquid, the concentration term is 0, right? We have already seen that the profile, the concentration profile is going to be flat, right? So that way we have no mass transfer taking place, only heat transfer is taking place in the water phase. So that way temperature of the liquid is going to be important parameter we are going to make use of. That's what I wanted to convey here. So we have in the water side, in the air side, there is no mass transfer and only heat transfer is taking place, whereas in air side mass transfer and heat transfer is taking place. Therefore instead of concentration, we don't talk in terms of what is the concentration in the liquid or what is the concentration at the interface. Okay, so we are concerned about the liquid, so that parameter is used, liquid temperature TL. Whether this TL is how it is close to T, is it between TW and T, that is the dry bulb temperature, how it is varying dependingly we are going to have different system. Okay, so now, so this humidity and temperature of the air is changing. Okay, humidity, so the parameters that are changes are in the liquid side, temperature of the liquid changes, the temperature of the liquid changes, humidity and temperature of the air changes. So these three parameters are changing, that is TL, H dash, comma, temperature of the gas side. Okay, so these parameters are changing. We should know that air in equilibrium with water. Our air is in equilibrium with water at a given temperature. Air is in equilibrium with air is in equilibrium with water at a given temperature is said to be saturated. Saturated with water vapor. That term we will be using often. Okay, saturated. What do you say that when you say air and water are in equilibrium? At equilibrium, when you say air and water are in equilibrium, it means that whatever is the, because we have air and we have water. When we say they are in equilibrium, it means that air is saturated with water vapor. That means what? It is 100% saturation line. Okay, 100% saturation line we should consider. Okay, so can we say what is enthalpy? So what is actually here we consider when the air is in equilibrium with water, it means that it is saturated with water vapor which exerts a partial pressure equal to the vapor pressure, that we should recall. Okay, so when we say what is enthalpy, it is a property used to represent, this is important, simultaneous heat transfer and mass transfer on the gas side. Okay, so the property that can be used to represent simultaneous heat and mass transfer on the gas side is its enthalpy. So enthalpy is H dash, which is given by Cs into Tg minus T naught plus Y dash into lambda naught. Okay, so all takes the standard meanings. Okay, Cs, Tg, T naught, Y dash. Okay. So that's why we want to represent enthalpy versus temperature. So you have enthalpy and we have temperature, right? So on a enthalpy temperature coordinate system, equilibrium curve what is equilibrium curve? It is a plot of saturation enthalpy versus liquid temperature. At standard condition 101.325 kilopascal, that is 1 atmosphere. Okay, so the saturation enthalpy data is going to be the same because for a air water system it is fixed, right? So for a air water system at 101.325 kilopascal, we can write the data of the saturation enthalpy values. Saturation enthalpy values of air, water vapor, water system is, you can take down temperature and enthalpy in kilojoules per kg. Temperature is in Kelvin. Okay, so take down the data 283.15. So in the exams I won't give the value, you can take the data directly from here. 29.3, 288.15, 42, 293.15. So that 15 can be skipped. Okay, 57.4, 76.2 is 298, 303. That 0.15 is there everywhere. 303 is 99.6, 308 is 128.9, 313 is 165.8, 318, 213, 323, 273.8. So this data is standard, because for a air water system, this value, even if it is given, you can make use directly for your temperature range. So this particular temperature range I have given. Okay, so just above room temperature, 0 degree, no, 273, 10 degrees Celsius to this temperature. So what is equilibrium curve? It is the relationship between enthalpy of the air and the temperature of the water. We should know that equilibrium curve. When we say equilibrium curve, because so far in our earlier models, when we say equilibrium curve, that represents your mole fractions x, y and y in liquid phase and gas phase. Whereas here our equilibrium curve is about enthalpy. Okay, so this is a relationship between enthalpy of the air, and equilibrium curve is a plot of saturation enthalpy and the liquid temperature. When this relationship, when equilibrium is attained between air and water. Okay, so we have seen what is operating line. So clearly I have explained already. So you are going to have a curve for your H dash versus temperature in Kelvin. H dash is here kilojoule per kg. So you are going to have an operating line for your system A and B, which I have explained earlier. So we have seen how to get tangential line and get the minimum gas flow rate slope, right? So this operating line will have a slope of L CL by GS. Okay. So in this lecture, so we started off with wet bulb thermometry. We have seen what is wet bulb depression, what is psychrometric ratio, what is Lewis number, right? In the next lecture, we will derive an expression for height of packed bed for cooling tower operations. Okay, thank you so much for joining my classroom. Meet you in the next lecture. Bye bye.